practitioners. We going into the 6th day of the retreat in October 2024. In the retreats, that is a time for our practitioners to get enlightenment, and it's not the time to start to learn how to practice, and the time that to it's just like a time to take a test and for people coming to the retreats, that is a time for them to take a test and achieve or see their own Buddha nature. So for our practitioners, they need to prepare during the daily living, practicing the patriarch Zens, and then when the retreats come in, they come and just focus only on the goal of enlightenment. So in the daily life, if they don't do the practice continuously and diligently, they won't be able to see their own Buddha nature during the retreat. So when we doing a practice in a retreat, we focus on our practice only, going continuously and diligently, and we don't pay attention to much on anything else. The main points right here to have these Dharma talk is to encourage our practitioners to continue to practice continuously and diligently, and with one goal, to get awakened from this dream, open eye dream. So for the practicing of the Patriarch Zen, there are two main requirements that you have to believe in your own Buddha nature and start the practicing. So when you're practicing, you keep asking one question and raising doubt. You continue to ask questions and raising doubt until you reach that free thinking state of mind. So many patriots, previous patriots had dedicated their lives to just for the practice. Sometimes They have to train their own life. Sometimes they have to live in a very difficult life in order to achieve the way to practice, in order to learn the way to practice. So, in the booklet of how to do the practice of Patriot Zen, the 10 um, 10 uh, sentences that helping our practitioner to do the practice directly and continuously. These 10 points of in in the booklet is the condensed of all Dharma talk that the patriots want us to practice. Sometimes we put in our own knowledge, our own opinions to these 10 points in the booklet, and we have done something that uh, can direct us or lure us away from the main points. It's just like milk, pure milk being uh, being put water in, and now you have a uh, mix milk and water, and it's not the right way to do the practice. So when the patriarch said that in this space there no other space, in this time there is no other time for us to do anything else. So when the patriarch or the Buddha said that our Buddha nature is everywhere, every time, which means that there's no space left, or there is no inter- intermittent times that we are doing in our practice. So these words are used in order to explain the explanation for us. When we do in the practice, which means we believe in our own Buddha nature. So the patriarch and the Buddha depends on the situations, and they use words to convince their disciples, their practitioner, to continue to practice continuously and diligently. So the practitioner, when it comes to the retreats, they need to make a vow, the Bodhi vow, in order to practice continuously and diligently. And we continue to practice until we meet our ultimate goal, which is awaken from this dream and see our own Buddha nature. However, most of the people, when they doing the practice, they thought that they doing the practice well or diligently, but they still running after the ignorance. They still running after the knowledge or the understanding. They don't know that they already have the Buddha nature or ready for them to uh, to see from their own mind. It's just like an example. The Buddha said that we already have our valuable pearl in our pockets, and we didn't know. We still going out being a beggar, try to achieve something else, and we didn't know that we already have our own pearl in our own pocket, and you just have to take it out and become a rich person. So when you're doing a practice, you set up a goal that you will see your own Buddha nature. However, the Buddha nature is already there for you to see when you get enlightenment. But these are just words. If you're running after these words, you are just a Korean dog running after the bone. In order to see your own Buddha nature, you have to be the lion who catch the person who throw out the bone. So all these words, all the questions that you ask, those are just the bone that been thrown out. And if you're running after those, you are the dog running after the bones. However, when you're asking the questions and you have a doubt, the doubt has nothing for you to look at, nothing for you to running after, because nothing from the doubt that you can catch or touch or see. That's why when you're asking the questions and you have doubt, the doubt strip up all other thoughts arising in your mind. Sometimes when you're asking the questions, you feel like really bored or you feel like frustrated because you couldn't see anything, because you couldn't achieve anything. That is the mind of wanting to see something, to achieve something. Those are just the creation of your own mind, the products of your own mind that is interfering with your practicing. So when you see these kind of mind wanting something in your practicing, want to achieve something in our practicing, a fear of our practicing going nowhere, you need to go back to your Buddha nature, believe in your own Buddha nature, and ask questions continually and diligently. So until we go to the roots of our ignorance, the pre-thinking state of the mind, and that is very close to our Buddha nature already. So, like Huvan Zen Master said, that when you have not the doubt, you continue to ask questions. And when you start to have the doubts, still continue to ask questions. You use the doubt like a rock to um, tap on the door for somebody to hear and open the door for you. So the doubt the doubt works automatically to sweep up everything for you, and you don't put in your own intentions that you need to do this, need to do that in your practicing. When you have a doubt there to do the job for you already. When you still want something in your practice or want to achieve something in your practice, it's just like you using a um, a pot with many holes in them and try to get the water and try to do something else in our practice. It's just like that. So just like in Langim Sutra, the Buddha gave an example of that because your eyes has a disease, so you can see the sparkles in the air. So you need to fix to cure your own disease of your eyes. And when the disease gone, you won't see the sparkles in the air anymore. You don't try to sweep up those sparkles in the air, but you need to take care of your eyes. And when your eyes recover from the disease, you won't see those sparkles anymore. So like um, a poem from Tăng Sáng Zen Master, Tính Tâm Minh poem from Huyền Giác Zen Master instead, that when you want to oppose your illusions, when you try to oppose your thoughts or try to suppress your thoughts, that is the size of your disease becomes serious, and we don't try to whip up the thinkings or the illusions that created by our own mind by putting our attention to stop it, to sweep it up, or to suppress these thinkings in our mind at all. We need to get the doubts, and the doubt will automatically to do it for us. We don't have fear when we're doing our practice. We doing our practice continuously in all situations, all circumstances. We doing all of our job and continue to practice. When we believe in our Buddha nature, we will do the practice in all situations, in all circumstances, and even in our job, we can still do the practice. We ignore anything else that's happening in our mind, but we pay attention to our practice and we focus only on our practice while dealing with everything and happening in this life. For some people who follow Drilak Zen Master, sometimes they still don't understand uh, the Master's meanings in practicing. And sometimes they uh, complain that's why they've been practicing for a while and they still cannot get anything from the practice. And they didn't know that they've been having they didn't know that they running after uh, something created by their own mind, asking them that they need to achieve something in this practice, and they attach themselves to that. They didn't know that. That's why they still going on the wrong path of practicing. So in our Tatra Zen, we're using the doubts to walk forward our Buddha nature to the awakening, and we just keep asking the questions and raising doubt until we can reach the roots of our ignorance, where all the cause of all the thinkings of our mind. So that is my sharing for all people. If you have any questions, go ahead and speak up. Kim Hwan, go ahead and speak up. Mm. Today, we talking about the how to do the practice. And previously, when we had that retreat, I always thought that uh, in the we when we doing a retreat, if you are doing the practice diligently, you can do the practice anywhere, at home or at the monastery, the temple is the same. But recently, when we practicing the practice, I talked to some people and they said also like that, when you are busy with your life and you won't have time to go to a retreat, and if you know the instructions how to do the practice already, then you can do it at home too. Um, so is that the right thinking for new people or for those people who doing the practice the patriarchs then? So it's the patriarchs, they uh, have created these retreat in order to train people to encourage people to come and to get enlightenment in the monastery, uh, to pay attention more to their practice. Just like the training of the soldiers in the military. We need to remind ourselves to do the practice continuously and diligently in the retreat when we have other people, our Dharma friends, and the master to remind us to do that. So when we in the retreat of the monastery, we have a lot of precepts too to help us to focus on our practice. When we doing the practice at home or try to isolate ourselves in some quiet area, um, sometimes we don't have people to watch us, to remind us. We don't have precepts there to help us. So when we had something going on in our mind and we easily running after them and we did something, some karma that will destroy our practice in just a second. So for some people that they said that, oh, I really value the practice, but I'm not going to the monastery and I will isolate out myself to do the practice continuously. And they don't realize that they have the ego. They don't realize that they going on a wrong path. Some people sometimes they uh, decided to do the practice by themselves, to isolate themselves, in some quiet area and do the practice. And sometimes they going on the wrong path and they have nobody to remind them, nobody to encourage them to go back to the right path. And sometimes they facing um, with the problem, they can throw up blood or they might have some kind of disease that they didn't know um, going on in their own mind, and they going on the wrong path. I didn't know. So the retreat in the monastery is the place for you to come and get the the practicing over here while we helping each other to going uh, to go on the practice continuously and diligently. For some people, if they had decided to isolate themselves and doing the practice themselves at home without going to the temple, then um, we advise them and they don't listen, then we won't be able to convince them. Then just go back to ourselves, and we have our own responsibility to do the practice and reach our Buddha nature um, that we need to take care of. So we don't wait for somebody else. We don't wait for anything else. We start our practice and we come to the temples, we come to the monastery to do the practice in order to get help from our Dharma friends. We um, have the reminder to help us to focus more in our practice, and we can do the practice continuously and diligently. And that is how we can get to our roots of ignorance someday. We can see our own Buddha nature someday. So you need a right view in order to do the practice. And for all practitioners who learn Buddhism, uh, when you have a vow to do the practice in Buddhism, you must go on the right path. You must have the right Dharma and continue to practice in order to go forward your goal. You don't go on to attach yourself to the knowledge, to the understanding of the sutra, and going on doing some research on those sutra, and that is going on a wrong path. We have many means from the Buddha, uh, the three levels of practicing from the uh, Theravada, Theravada or the Mahayama ways of practicing. They only have one purpose, to help people to start the practice. And when you believe more in your Buddha nature, then you're gonna go from one level to the next level. You don't attach yourself to the lower level, but you always want to go up to other levels and continue to believe in your own Buddha nature and do the practice continuously, diligently until you reach your goal. This is the Patriarch Zen is a very um, hard methods to believe in. So you need, when you believe, you need to practice right away and continuously.